Hi, Jay Smith from Model Aviation Magazine. We're here at the AMA Expo, and we're here with Quique, who's going to tell us a little bit about the Visionaire. You can see it here right behind us. This is the brand new release, and it's the first AS3X airplane that's available in a park flyer size. Hi, Quique. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. So tell us a little bit about this airplane. We're really excited about it being available. The first time AS3X was let known to the public was at iHobby, and I asked that day, would that be available in park flyer size? So I've been waiting for this for a couple of years. So tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, I'm very excited too about. I think this really opens a new thing for us, the modelers, and the Visionaire is a product from Parkson. It's a park size airplane, and we have developed the airplane and the receiver at the same time, driving the two projects together. So we spend a lot of time tuning and finding different ways. I think the end result is really phenomenal. Extremely happy with the plane. It's a combination. The Visionaire is a combination of two things: a good flying airplane and the technology. So I kind of would like to describe the airplane itself, and then we talk about the receiver, and then at the end, people will have a more clear view of the overall product. So the main thing is when you want an airplane to fly well, especially this plane is targeted to the sport flyer that always wanted to fly beyond the stalls, which is we know as a 3D. So hairy around, maybe go inverted, or even flying slow or hovering and things like that. That's the target. But it doesn't mean that the airplane will not do more than that. In hands of people that can fly, expert flyers, it's truly an unlimited airplane. It will do anything you want. But the core of all this, the airplane I describe you, the core of that description is the wing loading. So you want to have an airplane that is light in relation to the size and the wing area. So because the technology we have a hollow wings reinforced with carbon fiber. The fuselage is all light for everywhere, but still a very strong airplane. The mass is less, so the plane is still strong. So we achieve an airplane that is very light, and to that we add, through my experience doing my airplane for 30-something years, I just add a few things. We have like the vortex generators, and people for all modelers probably they know is use this in the full scale, but you don't see too much in the RC, and so the vortex gives to the airplane the ability to fly a higher angle of attack, also have increased the control of, especially the aileron control at that higher angle of attack, and also it will soften the stall. The stall will not happen that sharp. Along with that, we design a plane where it's all about experience. This is flying experience. So the target was weight. So the canopy doesn't have the pilot, doesn't have the clear canopy. No wheel pans, big wheels, no fairings on the landing gear, things like that, because the target is the weight. So at the end, we have a plane that it will do what we have as a target. Well, along with that, we have the technology coming on the other side, and I was the one that developed the 635, and in cooperation, of course, with the Spectrum team, we came out with a receiver that is very flexible. That's the main thing. So it will work with different transmitters. So especially when you do, I don't want to get too technical or confusing people here, but when you fly 3D, the main thing is your pitch control. When you fly at a high speed, you probably need only 20%, 15% of a servo travel. When you fly in a slow flight or 3D mode, you need the 125% servo travel. So that makes a big limitation for the low-end radio system, which the rates are 70% and 100%. So it doesn't match. But in the receiver, it's all built up, the software that will take the 4-channel, the 5-channel with not adjustable exponentials, and it will take the ones that not adjustable dual rates. So we end up with a receiver that's very flexible. On the other hand, we also need to have a receiver that is meant to be used for everybody. That's what we want, the sport guy. So no interface, you don't need any special thing. You are in the field, your transmitter, your airplane, and you can do all the setup you want on the receiver. The cool part with this receiver is that the AS3X is adjustable. So you can adjust how much you want in each of the axles. So roll, pitch, or yaw. And it has two different groups. So you, by channel 5, you flip position 0, you have one group, and you have the 3 axes, and you adjust the gains as you want. That includes turn it off if you don't want, or how much you want for each of the 3 axes, and then you have the other group, another 3. So in flight, you can switch between these two. So that makes the experience, pretty nice. Somebody might want to not use it, or find different setups, and we modelers like to experiment.
Right.
This is awesome. You can experiment with that. Of course, it has a different modes. So you have the 4 and 5E group. Take those transmitters. Then you have the 6i and up. That's the other group. Those two in 3D mode. So you can fly 3D with this transmitter. There is a third mode called sport mode. The sport mode will take all the radios and will allow to fly you, warbirds or things like that will have and still having the channel 5 working for retracts, and you still having the channel 6 that will operate your flaps. So, some people say, well, for that receiver, why you don't have a dual port for the aileron? Because we use a Y harness. The idea is that it's not that we didn't see that. The idea is to bring a receiver that will cover all the needs, and that's the way to do it. Believe this is the way we have done it. So there is 3 lights in the receiver, and these 3 lights represent one of each represent the axle. And then by stick combinations, you can adjust the gains. You can select the type of transmitter you're flying, and you can adjust the sensing motion. The sensing motion is the direction the gyro will correct.
Yeah.
So because it's an open stock receiver, so this receiver will live in the different airframes. So it needs to be very flexible and adjustable. So these two things together, make the Visionaire, and in my opinion, an exceptional airplane, and an airplane that I think it will be remembered as the first to go with this system out. And I truly believe that's the future. Our modelers will follow, because the experience you get when you fly it, it will allow you to do things that you dream, or your next thing, or the higher thing. That's where you're going with it. So I think it's a very exciting time.
Well, I think it's nice that when you spoke specifically about the receivers, the fact that you made it for all transmitters. So as me as a modeler, if I wanted to get involved in this, I don't have to go out and buy necessarily an 8-channel receiver or a DX18. You're allowing me to use whatever transmitter I have, whatever Spectrum or JR transmitter.
That's correct. And it will top perform in each of your different transmitter. So it's set up in a way where your exponentials and your rates are tuned in a way that it feels really great. And it's a very simple mode to fly too. You don't need dual rates anymore. It's one main switch. It's a channel 5. You're flying with these 2 different group of gains that you choose. In general, you want 3D flight with the gains high for slow speed, and then when you fly faster, you bring your gains down, and you have the other more precision flying. So, and as this receiver will move into different airframes, as I was telling you, we recommend this receiver for airplanes up to 91 size electric. We are not recommending for gas, not recommended for nitro, and it's not recommended for turbines. So the recommendations come from the receiver. When you mount the receiver into an airframe where the vibration is high, these vibrations affects the sensors, and it will force you to reduce the amount of gain. So otherwise the plane start oscillating. So you will end up with the values very low. So it's meant to fly on electric.
Specifically with the Visionaire, if say I'm a sport pilot, but I love seeing 3D and I want to learn how to hover, what exactly will this provide me, this platform? I mean, what can I expect as far as it helping me to learn how to hover?
I think you will be surprised when you fly it and you want to attempt for first time. The first thing you will notice is how stable it is. The plane is stable. You pull the elevator and your wings will be rock solid, and you don't have to work on the rudder. Probably if I had to describe in general, I think you will work about half of what you normally have to work, put it that way. It's not that the plane will do it by itself. It's not like you just watch. That would be boring, right?
Right.
Yeah, so you had to work less. As you working less, what that means is, well, you can relax first, you can move to the next step, and you learn things because you advance into the next step. And as I say, because it's adjustable, sometimes I say, well, yeah, it's adjustable. And I say, why would it adjustable if it's so good, right? Well, people need to experience. And one of the things I learned, like the airplanes that we have, AS3X, is I have a lot of people asking me, can I turn it off? And I say, why you want to turn it off? Because I want. And I think it's the experience. I turn it off, and I think most people will turn it off. It will take about one flight that you have it on again, but already try it. So you as a sport flyer, what you will experience is, first thing you will notice, wind. It will bother you less. The plane will fly more solid. That's one of the good things. So allow you to fly more, and especially gusty weather, that type of weather. And then the amount of work you will be doing, it will be less, but without taking the fun. So your fun it becomes stronger. So I think it's all. At this point already, many people from our company already flew it, and people that has no experience flying 3D, the one that wants to do it, and in matter of few flights, they were hairy around. They were waterfall, hairy landing the airplane. So all that is, I think, is really good.
Well, I think it's very exciting because obviously you want everyone to be successful in the hobby. Mm-hmm. It's frustrating if you get a plane and you crash it or you're not successful. And obviously you as a designer and Horizon have done a lot of things with the radios and with the aircraft to make people successful. So I think this is going to be an exciting aircraft. And I think it might be good for people. As you know, sometimes when you fly, you hit that wall. Like you don't feel like you could progress. And I think this would be helpful in that regard as well. I
think you nailed it, what you say. I found this plane is sort of that transition from the flight simulator to the real thing. Many people are successful in flight simulator, right?
Yes.
But then go and fly the real thing, and they're not that successful. There is many factors that will affect. The fact that you are in front of a monitor. It's not the same if you're outside or outdoors. And then the other factor is, the weather and everything else. The tuning that we accomplish with this airplane is to kind of soften that transition. So you will come up from, okay, here's this wall in the real world, but here in the flight simulator, I can do a lot more. This is where this airplane is going to help that group. And I don't want to stop here, because this group, which is the biggest group, it will be extremely happy with that. But also, like the top group, the expert pilots, they will enjoy this airplane because at every level, you will be able to do a little bit more than what you normally do. You will do it in a more relaxed way. You actually will do more things. But at the end, I think in every different level, everybody will move up a little bit. So as you say, the walls, maybe we are not turning the wall completely down, but we're moving, we're moving the wall a little bit further out. So there's more space to keep going.
Well, I'm very excited about it, and we'll have a full review of it in Model Aviation. Appreciate you taking the time to tell us about it, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Quique.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
All right.